The AFC West just got a whole lot more interesting. From bold gambles to gritty rebuilds, each team took a wildly different approach in the 2025 NFL Draft. The Kansas City Chiefs stayed sharp, the Chargers went full Harbaugh, and the Raiders might have made the most controversial pick in the entire top 10. In this video, we're breaking down the grading of every AFC West draft class, what worked, what didn't, and who's set up to take control of the division. Let's get into it. The Kansas City Chiefs entered the 2025 NFL Draft not looking to rebuild, but to reload. With Patrick Mahomes still the face of the franchise and the defense trending upward under Steve Spagnuolo, Kansas City focused on plugging holes and reinforcing depth. And that's exactly what they did. They kicked things off with Ohio State tackle Josh Simmons at pick 32. It's a move that addresses a major need: keeping Mahomes protected. Simmons is athletic, he has smooth footwork, and flashes potential as a long-term starter. But there is risk here. He dealt with a patellar tendon injury that raised some concerns, and while the upside is clear, the pick could backfire if durability becomes an issue. Still, if the Chiefs' medical staff and coaching can keep him healthy and refine his technique, Simmons could become a cornerstone. In round 2, they added Tennessee defensive tackle Omar Norman-Lott. It felt like a slight reach, but he fits the Chiefs' mold: explosive, aggressive, and high motor. He won't be a full-time starter right away, but he brings pass rush potential on the interior and adds depth to the defensive line that wore down late last season. Third-round picks Ashton Gillott and Noel Williams gave the defense even more punch. Gillott is a relentless edge rusher from Louisville who can rotate in on passing downs, while Williams, a physical press corner from Cal, brings traits that fit Spagnuolo's aggressive coverage schemes. Neither is a plug-and-play star, but both have serious upside. Day 3 focused on weapons and versatility. Jalen Royals, a speedy receiver from Utah State, could find a role in the slot or on gadget plays. Jeffrey Bassa, a hybrid linebacker from Oregon, adds coverage ability and special teams value. And Brashad Williams, a late-round running back from SMU, could develop into a sneaky weapon thanks to his receiving skills and return ability. This class isn't flashy, not by any means, but it's very well-rounded. If Simmons stays healthy and the Day 2 defenders develop, this draft could quietly be one of Brett Veach's best efforts. Overall, I give the Chiefs an A-. Solid foundation, smart upside swings, the kind of draft that wins in January. Now, while the Kansas City Chiefs focused on reinforcing the edges of an already elite roster, just a few hours down the road, the Chargers took a very different approach. One that screamed Jim Harbaugh from start to finish. The Chargers' 2025 draft class wasn't flashy, but it was textbook Jim Harbaugh. Physical, no nonsense, and deeply rooted in trench football and smash-mouth identity. From the first pick to the very last, this draft looked less like a highlight reel and more like a blueprint for the brand of football that Harbaugh wants to bring back to LA. It started at pick 22 with Omarion Hampton, the powerful running back out of North Carolina. He's not a modern space back, he's a tone setter, a downhill runner who thrives on contact and volume. This is Harbaugh's kind of guy. With Austin Eckler gone, Hampton gives the Chargers a new offensive centerpiece, someone who can grind out drives, wear down defenses, and bring physicality back to the ground game. It wasn't a pick that everyone loved, but for what Harbaugh wants to build, it made perfect sense. In the second round, they grabbed Trey Harris, a big-bodied wideout from Ole Miss. He's already turning heads at OTAs with his crisp routes and strong hands. He's not a burner, but he is reliable and tough. A possession receiver who will win slants, outs, and contested balls over the middle. He's the kind of player that you trust on 3rd and 6, and that fits this offense's future like a glove. The middle rounds added more muscle. Jamari Caldwell, a defensive tackle from Oregon, is a run stuffer with surprising lateral quickness. He's a lunge pail guy who will compete for early reps in the rotation. Then came Kyle Kennard, an edge from South Carolina who brings energy and speed to a defense that needs juice off the edge, especially after Khalil Mack's departure. They rounded out Day 3 with some complementary pieces. Keandre Lambert-Smith and Oronde Gadsden II bring depth to the receiver and tight end rooms. Gadsden especially could be a weapon in the red zone with his size. Branson Taylor adds O-line depth. RJ Mickens brings leadership and versatility at the safety position. And Trikweze Bridges is a Harbaugh special, a long, toolsy DB who will earn his stripes on special teams. This draft didn't chase any headlines. It built foundation. It matched Harbaugh's old-school identity. Strong run game, physical defense, and mentally tough players across the board. It wasn't perfect. There's still a need for more speed at receiver, and questions remain about explosive playmaking. But this class gives the Chargers a core of guys who will do the dirty work and help shift the culture. Overall, I'm giving the Chargers a B. Not a splashy class, but a steady one. It laid the groundwork for the kind of football that Harbaugh wants to play. And if it all clicks, this group will be a big part of LA's new identity. While the Chargers leaned into Harbaugh's slightly bland but physical blueprint, the Raiders took a very different kind of swing. One that could define their offense for years to come. Las Vegas made waves by selecting Ashton Jeanty 6th overall, a very bold move in today's NFL where running backs rarely ever go that high anymore. But Jeanty isn't your typical back. He nearly broke Barry Sanders' single-season rushing record with 2,601 yards and 29 touchdowns in 2024, earning the Doak Walker and Maxwell Awards and finishing as the Heisman runner-up. His elite vision, contact balance, and receiving ability make him a true three-down threat. Still, using a top 10 pick on a running back is a large gamble, one that hinges on Jeanty staying healthy and productive behind a developing offensive line. But the Raiders didn't stop there. They added Jack Betch, a reliable wideout from TCU, and Darian Porter, a converted receiver with elite speed and length at the cornerback position. Both bring upside and versatility, and the new offensive tackles Caleb Rogers and Charles Grant were smart day 2 picks, adding depth and competition to the line. On day 3, they found potential contributors in wide receiver Deontay Thornton, defensive tackles Tonko Hemingway and JJ Pegulas, and linebacker Cody Lindenberg. They even took flyers on 2 quarterbacks, Tommy Malone and Cam Miller, to develop behind Geno Smith. This draft class reflects a balanced approach, a high upside gamble at the top, followed by solid, value-driven picks throughout. It's a foundation that could pay off if Jeanty becomes the star that they envisioned. Overall, I'm giving the Raiders a B+. It's a calculated risk, but one that could reshape their offense if everything clicks. And while the Raiders bet big on offense, the Broncos went in the other direction, opting for a more conservative defense-first draft class that feels more like a foundational play than a flashy upgrade. And yet, despite some valid concerns about depth and positional value, there's one pick that really caught my attention. With the 20th overall selection, Denver grabbed Jahdae Barron, a versatile, instinctive defensive back from Texas who might end up being one of the best defenders in the entire class. I absolutely love this pick. Barron's tape shows elite zone awareness, fluid hips, and a rare ability to play inside or outside, which gives the Broncos flexibility across the secondary. Pairing him with Patrick Surtain II creates a young, aggressive, and adaptable cornerback duo that could be a nightmare for AFC quarterbacks for years to come. This was a smart, forward-thinking move, easily one of my favorite first-round picks of 2025. But after Barron, things got a bit murkier. In round 2, the Broncos went with RJ Harvey, a running back out of UCF. He's explosive, tough, and can catch passes, and he's a good fit for Sean Payton's offense. But it felt like a slight reach given Denver's other needs, especially down in the trenches. Harvey has his upsides, sure, but with so many quality backs available later, it raises some questions about value. In the 3rd, they took Pat Bryant, a big-bodied receiver from Illinois who dominated in the Big Ten last season. He brings solid production and physicality, but doesn't necessarily offer elite speed or separation ability. Depth piece? Yes. Future star? Still a question. The rest of the draft, though, was filled with developmental players who could contribute on special teams or down the road, but there's no obvious instant impact pick outside of Barron. That's why, overall, I'm giving the Broncos a B-. It's the lowest grade in this video, not because the draft was bad, but because outside of one excellent pick, the class feels light on top-tier impact. There's potential here, sure, but they'll need some of these day 2 and day 3 guys to seriously overachieve. Ultimately, this division didn't disappoint. Whether it was calculated moves by Kansas City, a culture reset in LA, the Raiders swinging for the fences, or Denver's focus on defense, every team walked away with something to build on. But now it's your turn. Who do you think had the best draft in the AFC West? Was Jeanty a reach or a future star? Did Harbaugh nail his first draft back in the league? Drop your grades down in the comments below and let's talk about it. And if you're enjoying this kind of deep dive NFL content, hit that like button, subscribe for more breakdowns, and I'll see you in the next one.